Yeah, started off with a good drive, went down and scored right away. First off, I think Washington State's got a very good defense. They run really well. They flew to the ball. They hit, and so it was a good challenge for us, and we knew that going in. Obviously, you always want to extend drives and put points on the board and put as many points on as you can, but a few things took us out. We still had with their movement and their stunts and stuff like that, or their move calls, got our guys to jump off sides a few times, which put us in some long situations. There were some drives in there where we didn't convert on third downs where we should have. Looking back on film, and I know that whether it's the quarterbacks or the O-line or the receivers are looking at it, okay, man, we should have moved the ball a lot better than we did. Obviously put some points up. We got to do a whole lot better in the red zone, and putting it in, not just the field goals are great, and our kickers did a great job, but we got to score touchdowns. That was one of the things that stuck out as we're looking at it.
I know play calling's damned if you do, damned if you don't, but late in the game, throwing a bit with with 2 touchdown lead. Last season, you guys had issues, closing out games. What's kind of the mentality, when you're in that situation, late in the game, on the road?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there was the one Montel, shovel pass that was pick 6. Obviously, that was a unfortunate decision and put us in a bind. And there was a few of those. I mean, obviously Brett turning the ball over, early in the game for 6 points as well. And as we're looking at it, we can't give up 3 touchdowns in 2 games, offensively. So, throwing it late, we felt like we kind of had them on the ropes there at one point, and using Montel with some of the play action game and getting him on the edge a little bit was beneficial for us and beneficial for him. So we weren't as predictable run to pass, whether it's P and 10 or whether it's, second and long and things like that. And they were doing some things second and long, bringing pressure and trying to, go to a bare front and create one-on-ones and matchups for 50 on some of our linemen. And so we had to make adjustments in the game too, and not put them in those situations where, they can get to us in protection.
With Montel, he obviously brings an ability to improvise. How hard when you're trying to make something out of nothing at times is it to just kind of not, I guess?
Sure. I guess there's a fine line. We're calling some pass plays, and obviously he brought a lot of them down and ran for some big yardage on some. Got caught on a few other ones. I think late in the game there was a little bit of that wanting to run too quickly and having some things open, and that vision starts to come down and work on the defense a little bit more than it is in the pass game and in the route concepts. So he's trying to get a lot better at that. Now I will say that he's done a good job in practice of trying to hang in there and stay in the pocket and go through his reads and do all that. So it's just in that game, and they're getting to us here and there at times, and he kind of got in that mode of pulling things down and going and trying to get it on his own. His effort was amazing in the game. Were all of his decisions correct? No, there's always no quarterback's going to make all the right decisions, but he's really pressing to make some better decisions, be able to make some throws in the pocket and not have to rely on his legs all the time.
The O-line, Harsin mentioned again that you don't want to be adjusting, early in the game again, but that's kind of what happened in that game. And that play where I think Brett got hit or mulch on. What did you see there? What kind of happened that allowed that to happen?
Yeah, it was just a little bit of miscommunication on our tackle's part, and we're in a 7-man pro and should have good stability there, and it just happened to leak through and got a good shot on him. And we look to clean those things up, and obviously we got to be better in protection. And I mean, shoot, those guys, those O-linemen are phenomenal. They're great guys, and they're still working through some of that communication stuff, and it made it tough with a little bit of that movement and the stems, pre-snap and trying to get, working those different calls and adjustments, with that.
What have you seen out of your running game so far, and what are you looking for this week in Mexico?
There's been some goods and some bads. Adding Montel to the picture with some run game from him has been good. We have that mentality, like we're going to be a downhill run team, and we're going to try to keep establishing that. We're zone and we're gap schemes, and I think our running backs are doing a great job hitting holes and running hard. And I'll say that for all of our guys. I mean, the effort is there. They're freaking playing hard, and they're getting after it. And that was a physical ball game. And our O-linemen are mashing up front, and we just gotta stick with it, and things will start popping. And we had a few big runs in that game, and we just got to keep adding to that.
Well, what kind of challenge is that? Where if Montel's the guy, obviously you want him to run and be physical and all that, and do it. But I mean, if he gets hurt, you're in a little bit of a bind there. How do you kind of balance that with him?
Sure. Yeah, it is an interesting situation. He is a physical guy, and we do want to be careful, but we don't also want to pull back on what we can do offensively. So, there's a little bit of a fine line with how much we run him, but at the end of the day, we got to go win ball games, and whatever we ask him to do, he's going to go do. But we'll limit that a little bit.
I know he's got plenty of experience in the Big 12 and all that, but for him to get what he got in the first game, and then the end of the first quarter, saying this is kind of your show the rest of the game here in that last game. What if he needs to be the guy on Thursday? I mean, I guess how much of the last two games kind of helped him if he needs to go in as the starter, this week possibly?
Yeah, it's been good preparation, for him, and talking to him through the game, he's been great on the phone. He didn't sound, agitated. He sounded very calm, through all that, and in the situations that he's been in. So he's handled himself really good, and whoever's starting on Thursday, we have complete confidence in, and we'll get that W.
How did the film study go? I guess when you look at especially the shovel pass that he had, one where as soon as he threw it, he probably knew he shouldn't have. Or?
Yes, definitely. Especially in that situation, you're up a couple touchdowns. We got to be smart with the football, and that's just that learning and that situational awareness, that we were talking about even week one, with some of the third and fourth down situational awareness. And all right, where are we at in the ball game? Do you need to make a play, or are we okay with just, hey, getting to the next down?
What do you see
taking care of the football?
What do you see from New Mexico's defense? I mean, their last game they went against a really, really good running back and did a good job against him, but New Mexico State was able to throw the ball pretty well. And then what do you see from their defense?
It's the same defensive plan that we saw last year. It's a zero-based team. They're playing cover 4. They're playing cover 1. They like to bring pressure, and that can be both good and bad. Obviously we got to prepare for pressure, and and a lot of our game and plan will be around that. But at the same token, we want to be able to make it a little bit easy for our offense, and making sure that we're dialed in with whatever we're doing, whether it's working in a lot of different situations.
There's so much that happened in that game that some of this stuff goes overlooked. But that first drive for you guys, how much of a statement were you looking to make? Because you went down the field and you scored, and it even looked like you lined up to go for 2, but there was a false start that kind of negated that.
Yeah,
so
on one
you
of
went
those
down to score, but it seemed like you guys still wanted to grab even more momentum.
Yeah, we had that mentality going into the game, like we were going to attack, and that was, we were not going to be scared to attack or throw shots or go for 2 or whatever it was. We're trying to put points on the board, and we're trying to put pressure on them, and we didn't want to be, scared to go do that. We wanted to show the guys, and we wanted to be able to get out there and get Said the ball, get our playmakers the ball, and be able to do some different things, whether it was the reverse or whether it was some funk type shot throws or getting the ball down to Said. We wanted to attack their defense and test their secondary out a little bit too.
It's like coaching quarterbacks here at the FBS level? I mean, you guys have already experienced it, the attrition aspect, guys
Mhm.
looking elsewhere to play and stuff like that. But also on the same token, you've got a Montel Cozart. What is it like, coaching that position? And it seems like that's a pretty hot market. Like
Yeah.
every year there's guys out there.
It's an interesting position, especially at this level. Everybody wants to play, and at the quarterback position, there's only one plan. For the most part. I mean, obviously some teams are rotating or whatever, or have a battle going. But those guys want to play, and if they're not, then sometimes they get frustrated and want to go find a spot, and that's understandable at times. But you're also looking for guys in the recruiting process that have a good base to them too, where they understand that, hey, this is a process. I've got to earn it, and I've got to get to that point where maybe a year, maybe 2, maybe 3, where I'm pushing myself to be that starter, and have a little bit of patience with it.
What do you think of Sid's performance?
Sid had a different look in his eyes. You could tell he wanted the ball. And at halftime, he we had a little talk, and he was like, "Give me the ball." So, right after that, we were like, "All right, let's go take a shot early," and did. And threw a few balls up for him, and he went and got them. And it was fun seeing that look in his eye, and getting back to that situation where, hey, we're trying to feed Set as much as we can.
You think? It seems like with Cozart, everyone just thought he kind of had the running quarterback kind of, when he got here, everyone thought he'd run the short yardage stuff. But you look at a couple of those throws, he may have hitting guys in stride and stuff. I mean, is he a little bit better passer maybe than you guys even thought, or than some thought coming in?
Yeah, he has a really strong arm. The ball comes out for him really well. He's got a quick release, and he's pretty accurate. So he feels comfortable with deep balls. He feels comfortable with those mid, intermediate range. Whether it's digs or glances or things like that. I mean, he's been very good from the pocket. Yeah.
2 more guys.
Was said what led to him having that taking that approach at halftime, giving the ball, and then with Alex, how much of it is still kind of a little bit of a learning process? Because you kind of had the fumble near the goal line, and then right before that, I think you guys had to burn a timeout because I think he was out of position, but I mean, it doesn't seem like, it seems like there might be just a little something holding him back from getting more maybe.
Sure. He's still young. He's got a ton of talent, and he's going to be a phenomenal back for us, and he's one of the guys we want to get the ball, to a lot of different ways. The fumble on the goal line with the throw, that was a really good play by the corner. He came off, he saw it, and put his hat on the ball, and it came out. And whether it was a fumble or an incompletion, we're still looking at that. But I don't. That was a tough play. But yeah, Alex is great for us. He's got a great demeanor. He's very humble. He's quiet, and he just goes out there and works. And it's gonna be fun to see his progression through, this season and then on to the next.
Where the O-line is right now, is it better to have a mobile quarterback back there with Cozart and Brett, the way they're playing right now?
I think either quarterback we have back there, our O-line, I completely trust. Coach Bedell does a great job with those guys. Working. What I will say, last week with Washington State definitely tested us. With their athleticism. 50 is a draft pick. I mean, he's a phenomenal player, and they had a bunch of guys on that D-line that can play ball, and so. Whether it's Montel or Brett back there, again, feel completely comfortable with the O-line. Absolutely love those guys. Those guys are working their butts off, and they take that stuff to heart. Almost more than the quarterbacks do. So they'll be in there this week grinding and getting after it, and putting it all together.
Zach, with the divisional play, those 5 games take on like a supersized importance and the tiebreakers and things. And you approach those a little different in the offseason. You spend a little more time getting to know those 5 teams because you know how important those games are going to be in the long run.
The offseason, you're always looking at your first few opponents, and then you maybe target 1 or 2 out there that are in conference that you've either struggled with in the past or just want to get a leg up. maybe it's a different style of defense, and so yeah, I mean, this was one of those that we had early and B, a little bit different style, so we wanted to get some extra prep and all that stuff this summer. But yeah, you're always looking to get ahead, during the summer, during the off season.
Thanks, Zach. Thanks, guys.
Yep, thanks guys.